Oh, yeah, what's up, man? Base boxing basement in the house, the Triple B here, yeah? I don't want to sound immodest, yeah? I don't want to sound boastful, because that ain't in my DNA, but, one of the few boxing channels that's worth watching, man. One of the few boxing channels that's interesting and tells the truth. Well, that's my opinion anyway. I hope the fans agree, huh? Anyway, it's been really bugging me. I'm going to do a full video on it, but the number of fucking rematches that happen all the time. We didn't have another fucking women's rematch trilogy. It was the third one between Serrano and Katie Taylor, neither of which I would obviously watch because they're both rubbish. I don't care about women's boxing. It was on a really whack all-women's bill of Jake Paul's. I mean, you gotta lose money on it, man. Unless Netflix are paying something stupid. 8 women's fights. All of them went the distance except one, which was a stoppage of the penultimate round. Who wants to watch this rubbish? But yeah, all these endless rematches, yeah. They're getting on my tits, bro. I mean, like, why? We don't need to see everything rematched, especially when people fight like twice a year. Nobody cares about, we don't need to watch Usyk, as Ricky Hatton says. Usyk, Alexander Usyk, as Ricky Hatton says. We don't need a third one, a trilogy, despite what Tyson Fury seems to believe. He definitely lost those 2 fights. Yeah, he almost got stopped in one by, as he says, a gap-toothed middleweight, midget, ugly rabbit. Well, he almost knocked you out, didn't he, Tyson? And I haven't been a Tyson Fury fan for some time, but in the last 2 years, he's been bugging me, man. But he gave us the Deontay Wilder fights. And that was a trilogy I'm cool with, man. I don't actually think they needed the number 3, but it was still a great fight. They were all different, the fights. That was the interesting thing. So, yeah, I let that one go. That's okay. But I'd rather have seen Tyson Fury vs. Gay J. I mean, and that was previously announced until apparently Wilder's lawyers ensured that the contract was fulfilled and he had to fight Tyson Fury again. Great fight again, but I would rather have seen Tyson Fury, Gay J, because Anthony Joshua, that fruity batty man, I think he's still seen AKA skins on the side, they're trying to keep it on a down low. It's like P. Diddy and all these other guys, they pretend to be straight ladies men, but really they are pure batty mans. And there ain't no such thing as bi, like I said. If you take it up the batty, or stick it up a man's batty, or, suck that lollipop, man, you is a batty man. Full stop, end of story. Wrong and pervert batty man. Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, I was just wondering, why is Fury Gay J not happening? Why are they announcing Fury Usyk for April 2026? Apart from the fact that Usyk are going to fight anyway, Daniel Dubois. When's that? Next week, man? I mean, another rematch. Yet another rematch. All Usyk does is rematch after rematch. Why did Gay J have to have 2 chances? Why does Dubois have to have another chance? He's not really a heavyweight champion anyway. He got stripped from Usyk, who already battered him and made him quit like a huge, giant silverback. Like a really, usually the silverback, yeah, sometimes, they're gorillas, right? The top dog always grows a silver stripe on his back, yeah, but eventually one of the youngins comes up, yeah, and the silverback gets old, yeah, and one of the young silverbacks batters the old silverback and asserts his dominance and starts to take all the women, all the females, all the biatches. Yeah? And that kind of reminded me the way about Usyk were beating Dubois down. It was like, because Dubois was one big guy. He's put on a lot of weight, more weight since that fight, muscles. Yeah? you know, very suspiciously. But, you know, so he's going to come through that fight anyway. Yeah, I mean, Usyk should win, but it's not guaranteed. Dubum's put on a lot of weight and suddenly seemed to have found heart on his chin. He must have an excellent doctor, you know. He must have a clone of Victor Conte or something like that, because something good's going on there, bro. You know. But, you know, there's a chance Dubum could win. He's going to outweigh him by probably like, well, over 20 pounds, you know. Usyk's 38. He lives clean, but eventually, you know, everyone gets old. You know, there's some I mean, you know, anyone can get chinned at some point. Even the best get flattened at some point. You know what I'm saying? You know, look what happened to Roy Jones. He started to get flattened all the time, and he was untouchable, although he's a disgraceful PED cheat. Imagine being that talented and still going on the PED And, yeah, before Otto says, he never failed a test. He did actually fail a test, Roy Jones. And so did the other guy who was fighting, some bum, I can't remember his name. But yeah, you know, it's so obvious. His muscles and you see how much he grew after the Olympics and his body changed. That ain't protein shakes. That ain't protein shakes and weights. That's PED. Anyway, we're not talking about that bum Roy Jones. Even Roy Jones got flattened by Enzo Macronelli, which was kind of funny. And did he get flattened by Dennis something? Lebedev or something? Anyway, whatever. It's not about Jones. F him. So, you know, I'm like, firstly, Usyk has to win that fight, and you never know. Who knows what happens if Usyk might lose? He might get hit with a legitimate body shot, where people say he's a little bit vulnerable. You know, getting hit by a huge buck like Dubois, you know, right on the right spot in the body. Listen, it doesn't matter who you are, that's going to hurt. You know what I'm saying? He's a puncher, Dubois. You know, how he dealt with Gay J, that was some fun. I was in the pub watching with a couple of pals, pros, and it was this little bar, right? And everyone, of course, is a Gay J fan, because Gay J fanboys, because you know what I mean. You know, they just believe everything they read in the media. Oh, he seems like such a nice guy. He's so intelligent. Yeah, he's a drug dealer. He's a secret society batty man. He's a PED abuser. He's an absolute wrong and he's a bully. But anyway, the bar was full of Gay J fans. But I was there with a couple of my boys who were pros. And and we were going nuts. And we were right at the front, right? Going nuts when Dubois was beating up Gay J and laughing my ass off. I lost a lot of money, actually, because I had a real big accumulator. It would have made me 250 quid. So I actually I thought Gay J would win that, you know. But it was so funny seeing Gay J get beaten so badly. He ended up face down with his ass in the air, probably ready for That's, you know, face down, ass up. You know, I bet that's a position Gay J's been in a few times, but usually AKA Skins is right behind it, smashing it, murdering him from behind, like Dwayne Martin, yeah, smashing Will Smith's Batty. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it, but check it out. But enough Batty talk. So, firstly, Usyk's got to come through Dubois, which is not a given, right? They love Usyk though, because you know then they can push the Ukraine story, you know, which they're doing a lot. I mean, even that greasy faced midget Zelensky took the WBC belt or whatever, one of the belts of Usyk, to meet the big Donald Trump. He's a wrong un too, but at least he's a funny wrong un. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so you know they do like Usyk. They use him because he uses him for some good propaganda. He doesn't look that comfortable with it actually, but you know whatever. He has to do what he's told. Like I said, you know he's probably part of the secret society. He's been pictured with the one leg up thing. He's been pictured playing chess with another confirmed wrong un. Who was it? Was it Crawford? Yeah, I don't know about him, but still, whenever they play chess, you see all these guys playing chess. Lennox Lewis, Gay J, Manny Pacquiao, and there's pictures of him in the secret society getting initiated on the normal net. You feel me? Yeah. But, I just... So firstly, Usyk had to come through that fight. And then they booked it for April of next year. I mean, that's like, what? How many months is that? Well, it's almost, what's that, 3/4 of a year? And why do we need to see it? Why do we need to see it? Even if you argue they were close, I don't know why Tyson Fury seems to think he won it. I thought it was quite funny, though, to say that Usyk only got the decision because of the Ukraine war. I thought, oh, my boy's getting a bit based there. Is he getting a bit based there? But anyway, he used to be well-based. He used to talk about all this stuff. There's a video still out there talking about finance, who runs the world, Batty business, this kind of stuff. But obviously Fury got threatened up and he had to kind of pull into line. He even got photograph of the Batty man kissing him on the cheek, which is grotesque. So, I mean, I might have caught an STD, like herpes. Apparently, 80% of Batty man at any one time have an STD, for real. So, anyway, why are they booking Usyk, Tyson Fury, right, for April 2026? I've never known a fight to be booked so far, so far in front of the actual date, especially when one of the guys has got a fight. It's nuts. And what's the fight everyone really wants to see, certainly in the UK, is Tyson Fury vs Anthony Joshua, a.k.a. Gay J. Because this has been brewing for years, and it should have happened years ago. Now, both obviously are past their best. It's a battle of who's more over the hill. I believe Fury would outbox Gay J, and if he's in the right mood, maybe stop him, because Gay J's chin seems to be getting progressively weaker. Obviously, the HGH and the PDs don't seem to be working quite as well, Gay J. Right? So why isn't that happening? And that would be a huge money maker. It would be a much bigger money maker than Fury Usyk 3, especially in the UK. Everybody will be talking about it. Tyson Fury vs Joshua. Who are you going for? I'm saying, well, I'm going for my Christian brother Tyson Fury. I'm not going for no Batty man Gay J, obviously, but we all know that. But, takes it out the batty hole from AKA Skins. So, you got to recognize it would be a massive fight. And even in the States, I'm pretty sure the States, they'd be vaguely interested in it. 2 ex-heavyweight champions. Or do they try and look down on British people? I don't know why, because we've had Fury and Gay J, and now Daniel Dubois, at heavyweight, and they can't get and Fury beat up their ghetto superstar Gay Wilder, another fruit. So and right. See, a lot of people, call anybody who has a theory outside of the regular media and the regular newspapers, or the television, because it's all BS, right? If you look at newspapers, they always repeat exactly the same stories. They just write them slightly different. And it all comes from Associated Press and Reuters, who's all owned by the same massive backing family. That's where the normies get their opinions and news. Can you believe that? So, people go, it should be your conspiracy theory, ha, 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 ha. As if there isn't massive corruption around the world, especially with billions and billions of dollars at stake. There's so much money in war. People don't seem to understand that. And also other agendas, what is it when you call a bunch of priests? What are they part of? The clergy. Yeah, they're part of the clergy. So there's a certain plan that sounds just like that. Yeah, that ain't no conspiracy theory. The funniest thing is on Wikipedia or Chittipedia, yeah, they go, oh, it's a right-wing conspiracy. And then they go on to prove it in the rest of yeah? Well, they write out, they say, oh, it's a conspiracy, a ridiculous conspiracy theory, and it's based on blah, 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 this guy who wrote this book, and he has said this, that, and the other. They basically proved that it isn't a conspiracy theory. That's real. It's so ridiculous. I wonder who earns Wikipedia. I wonder. So. Why are they not making Gay J Fury, which is going to make more money, which is a lot more interesting, and also, you don't have to worry about Usyk maybe losing to Dubois, which might happen. Yeah. So, one of my boys, we were talking, and he said, "Do you think they will never fight?" And I've said this before. I bet they never fight. And why? Because Fury has been pretty based in the past. Okay? Yeah. And Gay J is like the poster boy for multiculturalism, even with his BLM stuff or whatever. He's the poster boy. They don't want Fury to beat up Gay J. Because, they had articles. I remember I did videos on this. It was so ridiculous. And it appeared in about 4 different papers in columns when they were saying, that Gay J is a perfect man that every mother wishes her daughter brings home. Yeah. Like Sophie Hartington-Jones wants a beautiful, blonde, well-bred daughter who's been to a posh school to bring back some giant buck. There's a joke about it, right? There's a joke about it. Like, so, a white girl knocks on the door at her dad's place. He opens the door. She goes, "Dad, I want you to meet my new boyfriend." And he says, "Yes, sorry, Sophie. Can you tell the huge buck to move out the way so I can see him?" I mean, like as if people want all of Britain wants to bring back some giant buck who's a criminal, right? Right, not including the batty business. I mean, oh yeah, I really want this perfect. Yeah, some degenerate piece of shit like that. I mean, I really want my daughter to get rumped up by a giant buck who's a drug dealer. Come on, man. Anyway, so there's always agendas going on. So is the agenda here, they want to keep Gay J away from Fury. Why? Because Fury's been based, and he's Caucasian, as Americans say, yeah? And they don't want their Anthony Joshua, allegedly most perfect man in the world, who every mother wants to see their daughter with. They don't want to see their poster boy slapped up by Fury. And I believe he would, even at this stage. I mean, Gay J's got a punch. He's got a chance, but he seems gun-shy now. And especially after Dubois, when he got brave, and he decided to go after Dubois, and he hurt him a bit, but didn't put him over. Because we're talking about a super Dubois with the super PEDs, has now got a good chin. And he decided to take risk and then got flattened on his face with his ass in the air and his face on the floor. Like I said, he's been in that position many times, but usually it's in the bedroom with AKA Skids or Ben Heine. Ben behind me Heine, as he's known. I don't know what's happening in that disgusting group of that trio of wrong-uns. So I don't know, man. But, it's certainly some kind of batty business. But yeah, so I mean, I do think there is, as part of the agenda, the people that run things are all secret society, especially boxing. They've always got an agenda. And they're like, we don't want a guy like Fury, who's fat and white and has said some base stuff, and you can still find it's super based. Yeah. To beat up, our role model for multiculturalism. And when he retires, he's going to come out probably on the Graham Norton show or something like that, and then admit he's a batty man. But once he's retired, he's got to worry he's Nigerian as well. They don't look good on that kind of batty business. But it's so obvious it will come out. But at the moment, they think it would obviously damage his commercial his ability to bring in finance, because a lot of people are not for that kind of nonsense. People with sense, basically. Know that there's something a bit weird about putting your face in the pillow as a man and sticking your asshole in the air and getting it smashed so hard it ends up looking like a bowl of salsa, like a tomato that's been smashed, you know, by some sledgehammer, you know, because I'm sure KJ is a bit of a perv, you know. He probably likes to be slapped up by AKA skins and called all kinds of names and get up to rough disgustingness. I mean, he would have loved the P. Diddy party. I mean, he would be rubbing his hands with glee and everyone would be lining up to smash his batty hole, including P. Diddy. So do I think Fury Gage will ever happen? I don't now. I hope it does. I really hope it does, and I hope Fury wins, but I don't think it will. I think they are deliberately keeping Gage away from Fury, hence Fury Usyk 3 being announced, and no one's interested in that. Not one person that I know from the boxing community is interested in that fight. But they'll set that up so they can also push the Ukraine situation again. Yeah. And they don't see their little hero, Gage, getting slapped up by Tyson Fury, you know, because that will take away his mystique and it would be just too funny. I mean, imagine if Fury flattens him like he did Deontay Wilder or like Dubois did to Gage. I mean, you know, the Illuminati, you know, the whatever, and the secret societies will be gutted by that. Yeah, the golden goose has been cooked. I mean, he has been beaten up, obviously, by Usyk, but Usyk didn't stop him, number one, and they rang the bell early. Remember that in the first fight when he was all hurt and all over the ropes, they rang the bell early. But Usyk didn't stop him, and also they could also push the Ukraine propaganda with Usyk. They can't really push any propaganda with Tyson Fury, because even though he's had to, you know, withdraw from being so based and telling the truth, you know. He ain't their poster boy. There's no real use for them, for Fury. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he got beaten by Fat Andy, but they can, you know, that was not expected. And Fat Andy Ruiz, you know, it was Mexican, even though he's obviously white, got a lot of white blood in him because he's got pink nipples, you know? I know that sounds weird, but the only people that have pink nipples are white people. You know what I'm saying? It's true, man. You know, Anyway, I don't want to talk about man's nipples. Otherwise, I sound like Gay J. But, yeah, I think that they're deliberately going to keep Fury away from Joshua so that they don't fight. They don't want Anthony Joshua to be humiliated by Tyson Fury, so they'll never make the fight. Peace in the Middle East.